way. What is a designated fund?
It's not. I was like, I'm trying to phrase it in a question, but it's not Jeopardy, even though you're usually the Bible Jeopardy guy. So a designated fund is a fund that is collected from donors that all have agreed to fund a very specific purpose.
Okay.
So if somebody gives to the general fund of the church, that's what goes to that overall budget that we've been talking about. That goes to our regularly scheduled and typical expenses of occupancy, of salaries and fringe, of ministry, all those expenses. Designated funds are different. They are outside of the general budget, and those are funds that are collected by people who want to specifically give to a particular activity.
Wow, yeah. That's really well said.
And the thing about designated funds, they have to be held separately in accounting, and designated funds cannot be used for something outside of their designated purpose unless the donor agrees to it. So
My answer is going to be you're one D away from designated fund, but whatever. So let's talk about our designated funds, not designated fund.
Yes.
And let's talk through a few of them that we have.
Okay.
What you want to guess kind of the number one designated fund over the course of this past year has been?
that folks have given to?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it's local outreach.
You are correct.
Yeah. So
Well done.
we have a fund, designated fund, that can supplement the financial needs of all of our local outreach initiatives. So that includes Serve Tallahassee, which is what we primarily have gotten those donations for. W.T. Moore and the ways that we serve that school community, and then also for our ramp builds. So those are our local initiatives. And if somebody wants to give, thinking I want to give to serve, what they're really doing is giving to that local designated fund. And that way, yes, if there was a need, it could go to one of those other projects within there. But we really try to adhere to what folks say that they want to get it to go to.
Right. Absolutely. And Serve Tallahassee has had thousands of dollars donated to this past year. It was definitely the most exciting one to give to with the government shutdown and all the news coverage going towards food pantries. So that was number one. Do you want to guess what number two is?
Number two, I'm going to guess, is Acts 2.
You're close.
Okay.
But it was Kenya Water Project. We had a
okay.
donor give some stock, actually, which was an amazing, generous thing. That stock actually went towards the Kenya Water Project in a $10,000 amount, which was an incredible donation and helped fund their well project that Amon is in charge of, and it was not possible without that generous donation.
And I would like to take a brief moment to tell any of our folks listening that if you do have a non-cash asset like a stock, a mutual fund, something that you own shares of, and you would like to make that donation directly, as in having it not cashed out, but transferred to the church, you can make a donation that way. We do have a brokerage account that we can accept donations of stocks and other assets like that.
Yeah. Thanks, April. And shout out to April Schoen for being able to facilitate those fund transfers to our church, to our online funds.
Yes, and we were something that we were able to figure out last year, and that I think has been a great new avenue for anyone who's interested in utilizing that as a form of giving. So you said, so we had Kenya Water Project. The next one after that, is that Acts 2?
Yeah, you're correct.
All right. So Acts 2 is our designated fund that goes toward helping our folks inside of our community when they come into a financial crisis. So we've talked about it before from the Sunday service and highlighted for a couple times how folks have needed that when they've had a job loss or they've had a crisis, a medical crisis. And there's a committee that decides after somebody applies whether or not we can grant that, how much we can grant toward that. And all of that's done anonymously so that nobody knows who's receiving those except for the folks that are involved in that particular committee. I think it's a really wonderful way that we can take care of our own community
Absolutely.
as a whole, so that if you do know, like, if we know that this is a rough time economically for a lot of folks, I mean, just in general broadly, as well as in our community, we have folks who are dealing with economic hardships. So that
Right,
is
and
something.
there's a team, the Acts 2 team, thankful for them serving, who knows their identity. It's 3 to 4 people who serve. I receive the requests, and I will receive a court request right now, 2 about per week, just to be transparent. I send it on to them. They prayerfully think through the needs, and if it's one that we can support or one we have to prayerfully say no to. And from that, this fund has, the lowest this past year was $505. We had given away almost every dime of that, I mean, down to the very last hundreds. Right now, it's sitting almost at $3,200. So we're receiving more than we're giving out, but it's always a kind of a yin and yang process of that fund being solvent or not.
Yes.
Wonderful job. Altogether, our balance sheet, and just for transparency again, we have around $200,000. So you just kind of think of like a round number is 200,000, and then we have an investment account of $500,000. That $500,000 was from the sale of the front buildings, and that's for use for future building projects. We're still prayerfully thinking through: is that going to be a new campus? Is that going to be a whole new building? Is that going to be some sort of other ministry that we can provide that helps our city? All joking aside, very serious. Like, we want to give this money for the community, for doing ministry and making disciples who make disciples.
Right, and so it's just sitting there, and it has been thoughtfully invested in some various ways so that that we are receiving some return on that money. It's not just sitting in a bank in a savings account with no money coming back to
Right.
us, but it's in a place where it is protected in terms of risk.
Yeah, Blockbuster Video, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
we put it all in Blockbuster.
Nothing wrong with Blockbuster.
So anyway, so it's not in any type of risk, but we are receiving some return on that.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, any other thoughts on designated that you wanted to share?
I think the way in which designated funds can be an amazing blessing to a church is that it's this money that is targeted for one specific purpose, and one designation can provide such a shot to the arm of saying, hey, we're going to do this ministry in this very targeted way. They can become cumbersome for a church when people are giving so much to the designated funds, they forget about the general budget, which is, a big ask this year. We know that the sticker shock is going to hit a lot of people a lot of ways.
Right.
But this designated funds, if you're only giving to, let's say, Acts 2 and forget about the general church, it then hurts the ministry of their salaries and the googly eyes for E3 kids and all the ways in which we do just average ministry. It becomes this teeter-totter. And I think we've made some big progress, especially coming in 2021 with some of the past designated funds. We don't have to rehash all that, but we've made some huge progress in not only cleaning up those, but being very strategic in how we start and why we start a designated fund to do extra ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we look towards some of the big projects that we will be coming into, whether it's the renovation with Serve, that may be part of it, or again, some of our just ongoing, like the ongoing needs of Serve Tallahassee or the global outreach projects. There may be other future needs that would really benefit from those above and beyond donations. So this is your offering. This is beyond what your typical giving is. It's just like, you know what, I feel led to invest into this particular project or ministry, and those go a long way. It really makes a huge difference.
Huge thanks to Julie May, sitting to my right, for all of her time, for putting up with my lame jokes, and for just the amount of technical problems we've had behind the scenes. So we did several extra videos, several bloopers. So if you would just affirm her with a round of applause that she'll never hear because you're somewhere else. She can feel it right now coming through the screen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for all your finance team and your kids doing all the janitorial work.
Oh,
around
yeah,
here.
yeah. Great. Now I know they can clean something. I'll have to make them clean something at our house. So anyway, thank you all for listening. I hope this has shed some light on some of our finance stuff. We may end up coming back and doing a few more of these over the next, several months as questions come up, if we feel like they could be clarifying for you. But thank you so much and have a good day.
God bless.